Velites, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The United States Congress is having sleepless nights over Africa. They are so restless about the development that is going on in Africa. Africa must never move forward. The United States of America sworn to stop China from developing Africa. According to them, there are certain things that China is doing in Africa, and they have to do everything possible in their power to stop them because China has become a threat to the United States of America. According to them, there are a lot of things that China is doing here, developing Africa left, right, center. And for that reason, we are losing interest in the United States of America. So they have to do everything possible to make sure that the narrative changes. They have to stop China by all means and make sure that there are certain things that China do not have to have here, because when it happens, it threatens the security of the United States of America. According to them, they have to deter China space in the Atlantic coast of Africa, because if they don't do that, it's going to be a threat to the United States of America. These people do not want to see us progress. Theirs is the African must always be backwards, because the moment we are like that, they are able to control. Now they can control Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso because they have taken their sovereignty into their own hands and they are deciding what they should do for themselves. These people no longer have the upper hand to tell them do this, do that, to suit themselves. Africa has become a threat to the United States of America because they've seen that we are rising. And this is something that they don't like. It is not about China coming into the continent and developing, but they have seen that now our eyes are opened.
Thank you. Just two quick questions. General Townsend, could you walk us through what you think China is doing in Africa? When I met with you, you gave a pretty good brief, and I know some of it would have to do in the classified session later. But what are they doing in Africa? How does it threaten us, and what are we doing to address it?
Thanks for the question, Chairman. There's should be some handouts at your places there that you can refer to. There's one on China there that depicts what I'll just kind of briefly talk to. They compete with us in Africa. First of all, China has made a decision, a deliberate decision to compete with America in Africa and win that competition. They compete primarily through economic means and diplomatic means. And you can see that there with their Belt and Road Initiative. They are investing everywhere across the continent. We don't actually have to meet that competition in every location head on. We have to pick and choose where we're going to do that. And there are countries where it's important that we do. And the military sphere, you heard in the chairman's opening remarks there that they have their one overseas base in Djibouti. The primary thing that concerns me with China's military competition in Africa is that they are actively seeking a military base on the Atlantic coast of Africa. And for a variety of reasons that I will go to in closed session, that would be bad for America's security. We, as a first priority, we need to deter a Chinese base in the Atlantic coast of Africa.
Committee on Foreign Affairs will come to order. The purpose of this hearing is to discuss the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation's, DFC's, efforts to outcompete China's Belt and Road Initiative, and discuss the DFC's upcoming reauthorization. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Smith, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Dathan, for your testimony and leadership. Let me just ask you, turn to the Horn of Africa, another BRI country. Djibouti is among the countries most indebted to the PRC. It hosts a People's Liberation Army base there, as we all know. At the end of April, a Tory MP, Tom Loughton, who, like me, is sanctioned by China, was detained for more than 7 hours at the airport in Djibouti and then expelled from the country. He had entered Djibouti from Somaliland, a de facto independent country with close unofficial ties with Taiwan, which therefore has been targeted by the CCP and was probably an exacerbating factor. Significant lithium deposits have recently been discovered in Somaliland, which I understand a Taiwanese firm is interested in investing in. Lithium is another metal, as of course we all know, that's needed for EV batteries. Given, among other things, that the DFC is partnering with Taiwan's Development Finance Corporation, the need to provide a counterexample to China's onerous debt trap policy in the Horn of Africa, the importance of encouraging countries to cooperate with Taiwan, and the strategic location in Somalia especially, with an excellent port in Berbera, would DFC consider investing in a project to extract and process lithium from Somaliland, perhaps in partnership with Taiwan?
We would certainly be open to talking to whatever private sector developer is interested in that project or similar projects elsewhere. As you point out, we have recently signed a compact with our counterpart in Taiwan. It's important that we work together to find ways to cooperate. We find those kind of partnerships can be very fruitful in working with like-minded development finance institutions where we share similar goals to find interesting projects around the world.
Thank you.
And we are moving to the direction of China because we also want to see development here. We can now weigh between the two options to see which one is best and which direction we should go. So it's a threat to them because we are also now fighting to be in the lead and not to always be backwards. And now we are not buying into the narrative that Africans do not have anything. We are poor and we are surviving on the aid, when we know very much that we are the ones that have been giving them aid for all these centuries. It is high time that Africans will unite as a people. Our unity is the only thing that can get us the freedom we are looking for, that can help us move away from oppression. And that is why we've seen that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso came together. Africans, we are one people. And that is what we need to know. And we cannot continue to leave the continent in the hands of the selective few, the democratic elected, because they have failed us. They are the reason to which we are still where we are. Our eyes are open worldwide because we've seen a different form of leadership in Africa, which is coming from the Sahel, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They have really taught us a lot about leadership. Now we've seen that democracy is no longer working. We no longer listen to these democratic elected because we've seen that there is nothing that they have for us. But everything that they have is in the interest of these yellow purple. So we are moving in the right direction, calling our leaders to order, and we are comparing Africa to China, calling the leaders to wake up, move away from these systems, especially the educational system. A for apple, B for ball, when Chinese kids are learning life skills. This is a threat that these people are always talking about. The African must always be under the mercy of them. We cannot continue to be under that when we have the mineral resources. These things must not benefit us, but it's always good for them. And that is what we are also fighting against. Now these people cannot do anything without talking about Africa. Our rising has become a headache and a threat to them. And that is why every least opportunity they get in their Congress, they discuss Africa. And we the Africans are still sleeping. We don't know what is happening around us. And these people are doing everything possible, talking about how to bring us down. We are busy doing things that are not even necessary. We are not even thinking of how we'll come together collectively to rise against these people. Majority of us are still somewhere else with their minds. But these people are always there planning how to come back and conquer us the second time. We are in critical times and we have to rise up and fight for the betterment of the continent. If not, if we continue with this attitude, these people will still come back the second time and colonize us again. And this has been their plan. So it is our duty to fight for our own freedom. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. And in the United States of America,